Hey, Shalom, Shalom. First and foremost, I'm going to say call on Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rekakwadash, giving all praises to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords, the God of Gods. There is no other God besides him, only the ones that he made, which is Yahweh Shai, his only begotten Son. You got the holy angels in heaven, and then you got the lower angels on the earth, which are the children of Israel. There is no other gods besides him. The only ones that are fake are wood and stone, and they don't exist. Much love to his only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai, the Hamashiach, the light of this world, the one who died for the children of Israel to bring them into the new covenant so that they can be blessed and they can be forgiven of all their sins, and calling out to the chosen children of Israel. And much love to Yahweh Shai, whom the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, and other names that don't have power, or they are not the correct power. And other images that may try to take on this form, because I have been seeing the debate lately about different religions that take on the story in the form of Yahweh Shai, and they try to compare Yahweh Shai to the different religions and say that he's no different. So how is they supposed to believe in the Bible or believe in the Lord when all the other religions are inspired after him? That is a good debate, but if you don't do proper research, you can fall into these different wines, as per se, as what the Bible would say. And wine mean different kind of knowledges, so you got to be careful what you read, be careful what you study, and other than that, just before you start looking into other things, look into the Bible and do some deep study on that, and it would most likely, if it bends with you and blends with you, it would make more sense. Um, um, it's okay to to study other things, but don't believe everything that you hear. Um, Much love to the chosen children of Israel. The chosen children among the children of Israel, the ones that would listen to Yahweh and come back and do everything in their power and do the best they can to stay out of trouble. Much love to the beautiful New Covenant brothers and the Akim, the brothers that's in the truth, who do everything in their power to show Yahweh Shem Yahshua they love and they fear him. And much love to the Akwaf, the beautiful women that's in the word. It's not too many of y'all. And whether or not you got a man or not, you still fear the law, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh. You listen and you learn in silence to the best of your abilities. Nobody's perfect. Women do speak out. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Much love. All right, and coming at you with a quick video through the power and spirit of Yahweh Shem Shai and the name Yahushua, and the title is called Little Signs. And the reason why I pronounced this title the way I did is because sometimes the biggest signs and the biggest prophecies are not the ones to look at. It's the little signs that are the ones to look at and pay attention to. I'm gonna make this a quick short one. Right now, a lot of things are going on, but one certain thing caught my eye, and right now it's about it's as childish as it could be, but it's still nonetheless something to pay attention to. A certain company, certain companies, or a certain company is deciding, and this is random, but this is something to look at. A certain company is deciding to move away from physical video games. Now, that right there is strange and as random as it is, but if you pay attention to it, is one of the first attempts to take away ownership. It's not one of the first attempts because, Housen is in trouble. The currency is when they achieve their objective with the currency, and the whole world having the currency, they will take away the currency and reestablish it with an electronic digital ID, blockchain currency. So that's two or at least three. Those are big ones though. Those are in the workings. They got the one where that the kids they want to recruit, and I don't know how this is going to work. These are just This one is just a rumor. The blockchain, that's real, but that's taking time. They're working towards that. But for like the potential World War III, that they planning on doing, because it's not just something that's just gonna happen. It's planned, even though it's orchestrated by Yahweh. It is planned. You know, um, they want to recruit children to go to war, ages 18 and 26. But how are they going to do that if they haven't? This is another rumor. How are they going to do that if they haven't division within the military, meaning that they don't want racial ethnics, like black racial ethnics, in the military group no longer. And there's a rumor that they're slowly but surely getting rid of the Israelite men, and getting rid of men, dark-skinned men that have a place in power or have some sort of authority alongside with the Edomites, the white man. And they want to be the superiority, and they don't want no Israelite man or ethnic in power. And I don't know, because how is they going to even have a chance or have a foot in the World War III if they don't have those, our numbers? Because our numbers is the reason why I do believe in World War I and World War II that they did win, those wars, because if I'm correct, because of the blacks' numbers, and regardless of the fact of them even coming out of slavery, they still helped the white man win the war, and they did it despite the racism and the violence that was done to them, and that kept going and kept being done to them out of jealousy and hatred, and just harassment and a lot of other things. So that right there is kind of big, and at the same time, it's kind of small because that's going to take time, but it's something to pay attention to. But now back to out of all those examples out of the way, back to the video game one. They want to get rid of CDs for video games and for future gaming consoles, and they want the pretty much they turn in the councils into nothing but ads, and everything that you'll sell, everything that they want to sell you, and paying to have access to video games that you do not own. So it's like it's been like slowly integrating, and in a way it is like a scam, because you truly don't own anything, and you got a lot of people that are willing to follow that. Like one sign was this woman, another sign that happened, and it's a small sign, but this is showing a showcase of just how docile and how much of an average person without a knowledge, wisdom and understanding of Yahweh, or just an average person that don't have no belief, um, they easily follow, and they're easily manipulated by media or by certain people or by certain acts, and they're easily manipulated, and they easily follow things that are not real, things that are lies, or things that are just wrong. So let me get that real quick. Going by a woman named, I do believe it's a certain woman, a certain Caucasian ethnic woman that happened to unalive 3 of her children. Now you can go and do your research on this. I know everybody hearing about it because it's very big. I'm not gonna put her name out there like that, but she unalived 3 of her kids, and she still got support. Rumor has it that she had a whole bunch of women, and a couple of men in her I forgot what that app is called. They this donation app or whatever, and they in her donation app, and they were given they almost gave damn near $1 million to her, and they're actually defending her horrible atrocity act of unaliving her children, and they supported it. They followed that. So you got people that in the last days, despite what people say and despite how bad things are, they still gonna be down with the movement. They still gonna support it to the end, to the point to where the destruction got to come upon them to show them that they are wrong, that there is divine judgment. Yahweh is due judge from heaven, and you seeing is believing. But why would you wait for that to happen for you to believe, And then you got another one with the jobs or whatever, and jobs is kind of a half truth, half lie. You got a lot of expensive jobs. You got certain jobs that the government is planning on cutting out for some imaginary budget or whatever, or their imaginary thoughts of them going broke, or America's broke, or whatever, whatever they want to do to scare the people. But they are starting to withdraw from certain programs and starting to withdraw from certain jobs that people would used to think that was important, and they're not. They're starting to get rid of that. So I heard a rumor that they was considering nursing not some type of career or something like that. So they was pulling funding out of nursing, to the point to where sooner or later, women that's going to go get nursing, or anybody at that matter, wouldn't be able to afford to go get it unless they had the money to do it. Other than that, they wouldn't afford to get loans and getting approved for all kind of things. So, it's strange, how Yahweh work, and certain doors are closing, certain doors in strange ways. So I'm gonna read Isaiah chapter 24, verse 8. This is the Blue Letter Bible, and it says, the mirth of the tavern ceased, the noise of them that rejoice endeth, the joy of the harp ceases. It says, they shall not drink drink wine with a song. Strong drink shall be bitter to them that drink it. Right. So this is going into entertainment. This is going into fun. This is going into your daily freedoms. This is going into privileges, and soon in time, this is going to take some time, because all things do. I'm not going to say soon, but this takes time, but it is happening soon. The plans is, to take everything away, just by you simply, like I said in the last couple video or two, they simply take away what used to be free, television. You used to be able to take a box and take a TV and just plug it up to a cord, and voila, you got basic TV, free TV. And fast forward to nowadays, you go get an average flat screen, and when you plug up the flat screen, all of these apps appear before you. All of them appear before you, and then you got to buy them to get regular TV, or even if you do basic cable, that's still the same. And if you got a TV with basic cable, you basically paying all of this useless money. No, wasting all this money on these apps and on cable. So that's no longer free. So the things that people enjoy, if one day, and that day is coming, that one day they won't no longer be free. So that little sign, like the little sign that I was talking about, it ain't always got to be big signs. The little sign that I was talking about was the gaming industry. These industries that are threatening to get rid of physical copies of video games, and to force these gamers to buy video games that they don't own, which is it is an ultimate scam. And they putting certain barriers on certain video games, and they overcharging for video games. So instead of you buying a $70 video game, guess what? You got to buy the DLC, or the DLC after that. And guess what? You got to buy certain outfits. You got to buy to unlock certain characters. So now an average person that don't have any wisdom, or could care less, is following this propaganda, and they all right with it. But people that are smarter than that, and people that know better, they see that as that's not a good sign, because it's a precursor to what's going to happen in the future to come. Their plan is to take away all and everything that an average person can enjoy. And in order for them to have all of that back, they got to swear allegiance and they have to give themselves to the new system. And the new system requires for you to have um, certain modifications, like cyberpunk. I don't know if anybody ever heard of cyberpunk, but cyberpunk and cyberpunk, you can have machinery, this with man and machine blended together. So instead of a man having a regular arm, he get his arm cut off to get some sort of hand cannon, things like that, or some chip modifier that allows you to or some DAC modifier that allows you to speed up and to slow down time, or you get your eyes modeled to the point to where you can see the internet in your eyes and you can operate through that, or you can hack through that. And they try to make the transhumanism movement fun. They try to make it like cool when actually there is a dark side. There are penalties, there are consequences to having all of this technology blended with you, because you don't need it. The original machine is the human body, and the body of man and woman is both spiritual. It's a machine, an organic machine at the same time. So for people to stand before Yahweh and say that this is not enough, that the body can be better, is actually disrespectful, because the machines can't last as long as the body can. And if Yahweh wanted the body to last, like in stories like the Bible, it's people that was walking around that was living for 1,000 years. You got people that was living to 900 years old. You can only imagine that, living to 800, 700 years, and that's minimum in the eyes of Yahweh. Imagine the body being immortal forever and able to power itself and to live forever. That's possible too. Like Yahweh said, one day is 1,000 years in the eyes of Yahweh. One day is 1,000 years in the eyes of the Lord. So how when you reach immortality, an age is different, and Yahweh allow your body to receive something like that, then the body is all that you need. All you got to do is take care of it, stay healthy, and take care of yourself, and you will live forever, with the simplest things like eating right and taking your herbs and things like that, and that's just an example. But I'm just saying, like, the transhumanism movement is not good, and they want you to take certain things to be able to have access to what you had previous, what was once designed for free, down to water, down to food, down to traveling, just simply traveling. You got to go through barriers and scanners and all of this, all these ideas that this white man got for the world, not just the Israelites, for the world, for his own people, to put his own people in slavery. It's already bad enough that the elites are divided from their own people, their lower level Edomites people, and they feel like, well, the government is for us, when a lot of them is accepting the fact that even racism is a scam, using the racism card as a scam, and using supremacy as a privilege or something like that, to make the Edomites hate the Israelites more, to hate the gods more, to be against them more, and to think that they are above the children of Israel, or they're above anybody of like that in the world. And it does say that um, um, the beast was wounded in the book of Revelation, and when the wounded healed, the world marveled. So when they was able to bounce back after the dark ages and to come back into power after dethroning the Moors and other solid kingdoms, kingdoms in Germany and different other kingdoms that the Israelites had in power, the world marveled and followed after them. So the beauty standard, the power standard, the authority standard went to the children of Edom. And so the world saw them as the standard and the role model of what to be. And to this day, a lot of people still, believe that, believe that the Edomites are the standard. They are the supremacy. They, just by them being who they are and being a certain skin tone, that's more than enough. And I've seen that as a private example too, like, people dating them and people actually in love with them and all of that. Now, those are common things that the human heart does compose with, but it's just a simple fact to put them on a pedestal when through media and all of everything else in the news and the way they manipulate history can portray that, but that's it's nowhere near close to the reality that we live in, you know. And the most dominant force is the children of Israel and the sheer numbers of them, you know, and the fact that another little sign, but that's important, is the birth rate and death rates for the children of Israel. They birth rates are becoming lesser and lesser due to environment as well, and due to interracial couples. You know, a lot of them are dating outside of their race, and due to the hatred for themselves, you know, they're not breeding in breeding anymore. They are actually going out to different other nations and breeding with other nations, which is causing their numbers to stumble. And mainly we looking at America, but you can also say that it is worldwide, you know. And environment is very critical because things are getting hotter, things are getting more and more hotter. It's like fire out there, and so much so to the point to where the seasons aren't really normal. I don't know what it is in different other seasons, but out here in Vegas, you know, summertime stretch all the way to the end of November, or to the middle of November, towards the end of November. And then summertime is over, leaving December, January, and February, or barely December and January as somewhat of a winter time span. You know, then after that, February, March bounces into spring. And to me, that's like an extension of winter. But you know, the seasons are changing, and it could be, and it can also be worldwide too. But you know, from what I know is what I know. But you know, you pay attention to little signs like that, you know, and Yahweh is working against them. Yahweh is changing their environment. He's changing things. He's changing the power of the dynamics. He's making it to the point to where Israel will come back into power. That, well, the chosen has to first, but I'm just saying all of Israel will be back into power. They will be back. You know, they will stay stronger, and you can't just beat them with just artillery, money, and changes of laws. It'll take a whole lot more, you know. But it will happen. You know, the racial wars, and all of that other stuff is coming in time, because they ain't gonna have no choice but to launch a full on attack, you know, against them, because they don't want them to take that power, you know. But it will happen. All these things will happen, but you know, you start small with some of the smallest things that you see, like changes of laws, you know, and pushing certain propagandas on people. So one of them was the one that I saw, which was to do away with CDs, you know, to destroy CDs, which is part of ownership of whatever you want to buy, like a movie or, you know, a video game, you know, and think material things like that, to digitize it and to say, oh, if we sell this to you, it still belongs to us. That's pretty much what they're saying. You know, and at any moment we can just take this game away from you, or we can ban you, and we can tell you to stop playing the game because you no longer own a physical copy. It's on the internet. It's online, and they control it. You know, and it's just video games, for crying out loud, just video games. But it shows you the mind and how childish and how greedy, you know, this Edomite man is. You know, and I don't care what people say, you know, they are in power, they are running the world, and they are conditioning the world to however they see fit. So people can try to downplay it as much as they want. It's just becoming more and more evident, you know, that, you know, these Edomite men are destroying the world and are changing it and are taking everything and heaping everything to themselves. So I don't know. That was just something to put on my spirit, because I keep seeing it. And I'm like, oh, okay. So little by little, this is what they're doing. All of the doors of privilege and freedom and joy are closing, you know, randomly, but they are. Soon, one day, it's going to be a day to where all the doors close, and everybody, and all these certain freedoms, you know, the freedom to go in the store and to simply buy what you want, to go out to, you know, to go out with your friends, to go kick it at certain cafes, or, you know, people to go clubbing, you know, whenever they want, or, you know, just going out to the park just to sit at the park. All of that is going to be gone. all of it is going to be gone. Music is already on the verge of being just gone, not necessarily gone, but it's, they trashing music right now, to be honest. And on top of that, they want to do away with the artist, because for some strange reason the artist either costs too much, or just them and them rebellion, or them having that having personal thoughts to themselves. They don't like music, for crying out loud, music, so they want to do more with the AI and the technology, making people hate advanced technology and AI, when AI and advanced technology is not to blame. It's who is manipulating it that's to blame. AI, and through the right workings, AI and advanced technology can actually help the world, but the way they want to do it is wicked, is evil, and is greed. So I'm gonna read a couple of these precepts and then just close out. This was just a quick one, because I keep seeing it, and and it's people that's trying to debate, them, and this is happening in like two years, that they want to get rid of physical copies. A certain company, they want to get rid of CDs and just make you buy online stuff that you don't physically own, which is very, very bad. That's not a good thing for the consumers. It's not a good thing for people, and for people to be buying. Even the console itself is coming without no cartridge, no tray to put the CD in. And if you want to buy it, they probably would make it separate. And if people start buying it, yet again, like I told you with the lady that unalived three of her children, it's a simple fact that people are supporting these wicked propagandists. It's just wicked. It's wicked, it's evil, and you still got people that are wicked and that are without knowledge and without understanding, that are actually supporting these acts that these people in power are doing. They're supporting and not knowing that when the time comes, it's going to be for their undoing, and it's going to be bad against them. It's going to actually do them harm. Well, you got people that actually debate it too. Well, I don't see the problem. We've been buying online gamings for a while now, so they just wanted the technology to be better, and on top of that, the FPS of the game looks more clearer without the cartridge, and without the CD tray. And you still got the populace that are blind, that are ignorant, and that are soft and very passive, what the people in power are doing. And this goes to population itself, not just the Israelites, to population itself. They are like sheep led to the slaughter, like the Bible say. Docile, innocent, dumb, easily manipulated, and these people are compared to sheep and cattle and pigs. For a great example, like I was talking about yesterday, about the obesity that's going on in America is very common compared to a person being healthy or being in shape. Is becoming extremely rare, and it's more common to see more overweight people than it is, lean people, healthy people, and people that are in shape is becoming rare and more sought after, more of a royal commodity. So for you to be rare, for you to be in shape, for you to be shredded, is you'll be practically a celebrity, being in shape, so men are getting it, certain men, even I'm on a journey, is getting in shape, taking care of myself, fasting, eating vegetables, eating what I'm supposed to eat my turkey, eat my fish, natural things that Yahweh put on the earth to actually help you lose weight, that still give you the abundance that you want, to where you can feel like you can eat certain things that you want and get full. But like I said, with another sign, them tampering with the food, that one is actually a big sign, because people are still buying this poisonous food and over sugared, oversaturated, over oiled food, and and produced food, 3D printed food, things like that, and they are still buying it regardless of where it comes from. They buy it for the taste, but they don't care about forever chemicals. They don't care about the dye that's in the food. They don't care about the seed oils, the olive virgin oil that's dipped and saturated in the patty, or where the chicken is coming from. Is it chicken, or is it some chicken that's growing on some genetically engineered plant. They don't question that. They just buy. Oh, I enjoy it as long as it tastes good. Well, it looks good. If it look good, I can eat it. And it's causing a lot of people to become overweight, to become very, very big, and like they said, is you're likely to become a millionaire. It's more millionaires in the world than it is people that's in shape, and people that has six packs, and people that's cut, and people that take care of themselves naturally. This body, or this is so much sought after, to where people is actually turned into genetic engineering, or body altering to achieve it, quickly, because of the things that are happening in the world. Other signs, like the divinity between the man and the woman, is becoming more stronger. And like I said, you got to meet a higher criteria, in order for women to get your attention nowadays. You got to go more and more above and beyond. Women are looking for men that are shredded, men that are in shape. As common as it is to see an overweight man, they are not desired. And if they got the materialism will not be enough. Little signs like this, to where to where the change is going to be, it's only going to get harder from here, especially for the average Israelite man. You're going to have to step it up in order for you to, you don't have to. You see a lot of people unplugging from the world and leaving the world, that's good too. You don't have to, but if you play the game, you know the rules, you know what you sign up for. So, and just being healthy itself is just very rare, very rare. So having an understanding of these things, you still got the average person that's supporting these people, supporting wickedness, supporting these ideas, and until the day comes to where it actually is doing physical harm to them, it's actually hurting them. But why would you wait that long until it finally start hurting you for you to do something about it? Damn near too late by then, and that's exactly what they gonna do. They'll fight back when they actually see the guns being pointed out and being shot at. Instead of listening to the signs going out there to fight and to stop these laws and to stop these people in power from changing certain things, to stop their privileges getting took away. Like they said, people is what made these companies, made these groups, and people can take it away. But soon, people are so docile and so stupid, it's going to be a time of day to where they're not going to be able to move these organizations. They're not going to be able to stop them. As it is now, it's going to be much worse later, and they're going to be trying to do something later. And then these organizations is going to be ready to use force, to get these people to subject to whatever is going to come after the currency, which is the electronic digital ID currency, and, the grain of rice currency. They're going to be ready to try and move on the people. And that not just Israelites, mainly the Israelites, but not just them. They own people and other races too, to subject them to this the NWO. So I'm gonna get this real quick, and I just wanted to point that out. What they doing with the video games is just video games, and they want to be able to take your rights for the video games. They want to be able to make you pay for these video games, apps, DLCs. Once was characters that was for free, that was unlockable during the gameplay. You get the whole bundle pack. They separating it all, and they making you pay for each and every one. So at the end of the day, you damn near done spent like $300 to $400 on a video game, and counting, even more on the video game. Probably spun like $2,000-$3,000 on skins, for your first person shooter, or you done spun like $30 on a character that was once free. So taking away rights slowly but surely, taking away privileges, taking away the right for you to own. And there's that saying again with that certain guy: you will own nothing and be happy. And the days is coming to where the Lord is going to take away. Yahweh giveth, Yahweh taketh away. If you love Yahweh and his goodness, you will love him in his adversity. And this is for the setting up the precursor to the hour of temptation. To where they actually offer you some sort of genetically altering device, that's going to change your mindset, that's going to change who you are, that's going to, disturb the Holy Spirit, that's going to drive Yahweh to anger. They want you to exalt them instead of Yahweh, because they feel like they so high at the top that they gods. They feel like they gods. They feel like they are equivalent to the children of Israel, which are the original gods, the original pantheon of the world. They are actually feeling like that because of the momentum and the advantage that Yahweh allowed them to gain. But like I said, pride go up before destruction, haughty spirit before a great fall. When he reaches the top, and he will reach the top, even to the point to where he put his hands on something divine. When that happens, the Lord will cast him down, and he's going to hit the ground very, very hard. So with that, I'm gonna go ahead and read a little bit of these precepts, and then I'm gonna wrap it up early. It says, "The mirth of the tabrets ceases, the noise of them that rejoice, and if the joy of the heart ceases, they shall not drink wine with a song. Strong drink shall be bitter to them that drink it. The city of confusion is broken down. Every house is shut, that no man may come in. There is crying for wine in the streets." Now, wine go into drinking wine, and it goes into different knowledges. The reason why things are happening, the reason why the up to date on the news, what in the world is going on? Why is this happening? I don't understand. This can't be real. I only heard rumors about this, and it's all coming true. In a couple of years down the line, all of it is gonna come together. It says, "There's a crying for wine in the streets. All joy is darkened. The mirth of the land is gone. Nothing but chaos, nothing but destruction. Nothing but rioting, nothing but stealing. The food storages, aka the stores, running out. You see the American dollar all in the streets because they transferred over, or they gave you a certain set of hours to transfer over to the digital ID currency before they shut down the dollar. And it's a rumor going around. And I've seen a video of them, what happens when the dollar is shut down, and they transferred over, or countries tried to abandon American dollar, or did abandon it. And all the money was in the streets. Saying like, what, 2 million in cash on the side of the road, falling into the sewer gutters and all that, and 40 to 60,000 American dollars being burned in the trash can. I done seen it. I done seen it, and this is from overseas countries that's already going through a lot of this, turning into third world countries because they don't want to be a part of America's movement. Well, what little choice do they have? Because America is the hammer for right now, and they are the authority of the world. They are the police of the world. So they go and they, do things to these other countries, and they make them obey. And these other countries may not have certain type of weaponry, or their military might be weak, or the people might not be that strong, when it comes to, fighting back, because they don't have no weaponry. They don't have all these things, and they can be easily ran through because they don't have no power. So even stronger countries, and some stronger countries they already in cahoots. They already are part of the NWO. They're already a part of all of that. So I leave for the other countries that are still against it, that still deny, America's movement, the NWO movement, that's going to be taken over. And that's what we're really waiting for the campaign, the dollar campaign, to be complete, for the dollar to be the currency of the world. And once that happens, they're going to cut it off, and then they're going to force the world to come under subjection. One last grab at power to make them come under the digital currency, the digital ID, the grain of rice. That's going to come into play. For everything to be tracked and everything to be organized through a certain machine, which is the beast machine, and for everything to be watched, for them to say yes or no, even when it comes to you taking a pee, even when it comes to you eating, even when you had 2-3 burgers today, you can't eat that. Or you had enough broccoli for the week, we're canceling, your broccoli privileges, certain things like that, or you drove in such and such amount, we're shutting down your car. You do have the electronic cars where if you don't pay them, or you miss a payment, it shuts down on you until you pay, or you got to return the car to get it cut on. Things like that. But instead, they want it inside of you rather than it being not just the technology inside of you, not around you. They want it inside of you. So you got to heads up, because all of this stuff all will be coming into play along down the line. It says, "There is a crying for wine in the streets. All joy is dark, and the mirth of the land is gone. And the city is left desolation, chaos, and the gate is smitten with destruction. When thus it shall be in the midst of the land among the people, there shall be a shaking of an olive tree, and as the gleaning grapes when the vintage is done. It says, they shall lift up their voice. The olive tree, the vintage, is a representation of abundance. It's not going to be what it is, to where you can go and you can buy apples, and the apples are sitting there spoiling, and they throw out the apples and they get more apples. The days are coming to where, you're not going to get your average piece of bread alone without it costing a certain amount. $20 apples, $30 apples, crazy things like that sound fairy tale, but it can be a very real thing. Bread costing $29, for a loaf of bread. Things increasing. $5 of gas is damn near $60 of gas. No, $5, no, $60 of gas is damn near $5 of gas. Things was just getting out of hand. It says, there shall be a shaking of the olive tree and the gleaning grapes when the ventures is done, meaning that these organizations and these Edomites that are at top and the people that are in power, they're going to take away everything. So it's not the lacking of it, it's the fact that it's being taken away from you. And it's being kept to certain groups. It's being kept to the rich. We belong. We own it all. We have it all. This is all ours. This is ours. And if you want what you want, then you got to come under our power. You got to exalt us to get it. So it says, they shall lift up their voice. They shall sing for the majesty of Yahweh. They shall cry aloud from the sea. That's the chosen. And that's those who know the name of Yahweh, and others, other ethnics, other people, even white people will be crying for Yahweh, crying for the Lord, crying from the sea of people. It says, wherefore glorify Yahweh in the fires, even in the name of Yahweh of Israel in the isles of the sea. For the uttermost part of the earth have we heard songs, even of glory and righteousness. That's the uttermost part of the earth is America. It says, but I said, my leanness, woe unto me. The treacherous dealers have dealt treacherously. Yeah, the treacherous dealers have dealt very treacherously. Fear and the pit and the snare are upon thee, O inhabitant of the earth. And it shall come to pass that he who fleeth from the noise of the fear shall fall into that pit, and he that cometh up out of the midst of the pit shall be taken in the snare. For the windows from on high are open, and the foundation of the earth do shake. It says the earth is utterly broken down. The earth is clean, dissolved. The earth is moved exceedingly. The earth shall reel to and fro like a drunkard, and shall be removed like cottage, and the transgressions thereof shall be heavy upon it, and it shall fall and not rise again. And it shall come to pass in that day that Yahweh shall punish the host of the high ones that are on high, those rich people that said that they are gods and they are not. They say that they are the people and they are not. It says, and the kings of the earth, and the kings of the earth upon the earth, and they shall be gathered together as prisoners are gathered in the pit, and shall be shut up in the prison, and after many days they shall be visited. It says, the moon shall be confounded and the sun ashamed when Yahweh of hosts shall reign in Mount Zion. He's going to choose Israel to be in power again, and in Jerusalem and before his ancients gloriously. He's going to do what is promised. Like I said, they're going to be prisoners, and they're going to be in slavery, and they're going to be in prison, and then they're going to be called out to prison to do slavery work. The same people that's in power, the same people that are the richest, the same people that's over there taking everything, and heaping everything, all the treasures and everything of the world, all the real food and all of that, and all the cars and everything, but everything. They hide behind the laws and tell you to follow the laws, even though they don't. They tell you it's not enough, and it's more than enough for them. They tell you that it's not free, but for them, everything is free. So with that, calling Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, Nam Yahushai, this was a little bit longer. Sometimes I go on little rants and stuff, but some of these breakdowns are necessary to keep you focused on that, not to panic, not to be afraid, because these things are going to happen, and we don't have no power in it. We don't. But one thing that the Lord allow us to have power in is to see it coming before it happens, to be prepared for it spiritually, and to know him, and to know the truth about things, and to know who we are. So with that being said, calling Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, Ba'Shem Kakodash, in the name Yahushai, I'm gonna get more into the sheep thing, probably in the next episode. But I just wanted to drop this real quick because that right there is important to just keep popping out, about how they plan to take ownership of everything that you own, and unless you don't come under their banner, unless you don't worship them, then you're gonna be locked out and you're not gonna have nothing and you just gonna be done, which is actually a good thing because the Lord wants you to lead a world and depend on him because he can give you everything because he gives you everything. Like the Lord say, I give and they don't even know me. So if you know the secret behind everything don't come from the Edomites. It doesn't come from the people in power. It comes from Yahweh. It comes from the Lord. So why would you go and worship them when you get everything for free by worshiping Yahweh? It make perfect sense. They do. And with that, calling Yahweh Shem Yahushai by Shem Kakwadash in the name Yahushai, Shalom.